Last month, the Illinois State Board of Education released the state's 2022 Illinois Report Card. The results show great promise, according to Governor Pritzker. He also said that he was proud to see that our children have a bright future. Well, I wanted to look at that report myself to find out if he was telling the truth. Spoiler alert, not really. Public education has fairly low standards. You can graduate by doing the bare minimum. And when I used to hire people, I would regularly interview people that could not label items with a pen or a marker. They were so used to typing everything that just the physical act of holding a pen was a foreign concept. These were all high school graduates. I'm just saying that the American school system does not have a rigorous education level. Plus, after 2 years of homeschool or online learning, many have fallen even further behind with this COVID. But this article is specifically the report on schools in Illinois, with some bits of data focusing on just Chicago. 1. Reading proficiency actually dropped in 2022. Despite Governor Pritzker's talk of growth and improvement, the reality is reading proficiency shrank in 2022 at both the elementary and high school levels. The number of elementary school students reading at grade level fell to 30.1% in 2022. That's compared to 30.2% in 2021 and 37.8% in 2019 pre-COVID. The worst part is a specific data point about third grade students. The numbers for reading proficiency in 2019 were 36.4%. But in 2021, the number has dropped a staggering 23%, down to 28%. It fell even further in 2022 to 27.4%. If a child doesn't learn to read by the third grade, it gets much more difficult to grasp other concepts like math or science. But it gets even worse if you separate by race. Just 11.1% of Black children can read at grade level. It's 15.9% for Hispanics. It was bad in 2019 pre-COVID, but the numbers are an absolute disaster now. 2. Over 350 districts saw overall reading proficiency drop in 2022, including Chicago. When you count them up, 354 school districts saw a drop in reading proficiency. That's not 354 schools, but entire school districts. Chicago Public Schools saw a big drop. 27% of high school students could not read at proficiency level in 2019, but it dropped to 21.5% in 2021, then it dropped again to 20% in 2022. Seriously, only 1 in 5 kids can read at grade level in Chicago. This is a disaster. 3. A record high graduation rate disguises the fact that most high schoolers can't read at grade level. In 2022, 87.3% of high school senior students graduated despite lacking the ability to read. You can get a diploma and claim that you've graduated. This is the same value as a diploma that everyone else got. Me, you, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Mark Zuckerberg. On paper, they're all equal. Despite that only 29.8% can read at grade level, as you might guess, it's worse for minorities. 79% of Black students graduated, but only 9.4% were proficient in reading on SAT tests. Hispanics, 85% graduated, only 15.9% can read. 4. Over 86% of Illinois schools are labeled exemplary or commendable, despite the collapse in student proficiency. Here's another example of just changing the definition of words. Call it exemplary, and it becomes exemplary. Ta-da! Abracadabra. 86% of all schools are rated exemplary or commendable. The number for commendable schools actually went up in the last 3 years. I can't even make this up. They think they're really doing a good job. You better give those teachers pay raises. I'm not kidding. They did. Here's an example. Take Edna Rollins Elementary in Aurora East. The school was rated commendable in 2022, despite the fact that only 2% of students at the entire school could read at grade level. Or perhaps Thornridge High School of Thornton Township, 205. The school also received a commendable rating, despite 5.8% of students there being reading proficient. I know that you understand how math works, but if you lined up 100 kids from that high school and you look into that large crowd of kids, just know that less than 6 of them can read at a proficient level. Sounds like a commendable school to me. Those teachers must be so proud of their work. Speaking of teachers, number 5, Illinois still lacks accountability for teachers. 97% were rated excellent or proficient in 2022. Official teacher evaluations are also entirely out of sync with student outcomes. Despite just 29.9% of Illinois students being able to read at grade level, in 2022, 97.2% of all the teachers were rated excellent or proficient. 607 districts performed teacher evaluations in 2022. 362 of them, that's more than half, declared every single teacher to be excellent or proficient. I can only guess that pay raises are based on evaluations, so get those excellent or proficient teachers some more money. I'd like to say this is a Democrat problem, but the governor of Illinois has been a Democrat for a few years. Illinois has a pattern of voting Republican almost every other election. It leans slightly Democrat, but it has not been a monopoly, so it's not a Democrat or a Republican problem. Chicago, on the other hand, has been under Democrat control since 1931, but they don't actually control the whole state, and certainly not the education department. I place the lion's share of blame on teachers' unions. They took over a long time ago. It's very clear their main objective is to support the teachers. More pay, more time off, more resources, more health care, more benefits, the list goes on and on. They have made it very clear they don't care about the students, but they do care about the teachers and the administration. Teachers vote. Children do not. Could it be that simple? That's my theory. Tell me why I'm wrong. So here's a conclusion. The results above expose the blatant hypocrisy of Illinois' education system. Illinois children can't read, yet they're graduating at record levels. Illinois children can't read, and yet a vast majority of schools are labeled exemplary or commendable. Illinois children can't read, and yet almost every single teacher in the state is evaluated as excellent or proficient. Well, what can you do? You can try to lobby for school choice. Good luck. You can move. But have you seen housing prices? And now financing is nearly impossible. You can homeschool. Well, sure, but it's tough. You might need to make some sacrifices for your kids. And it's much, much harder being a single mom, which is also running rampant in low-income and minority households. It didn't used to be like this. You might blame modern feminism or the family court system for that one, but let's save that for another video. In any case, get your kids out of the Illinois public school system. It's a disaster, and your kids will be paying for it for the rest of their lives. If this was interesting or you haven't heard it anywhere else, do the like and subscribe thing. I got another video coming later, so I'll see you soon.